Origins of negative prefixes like in dash, un dash, il dash, ir dash, dis dash, a. I've read here about origins of in and un negative prefixes. Are there any known origins of other negative prefixes such as il dash, ir dash, dis dash, a dash?
The prefix in can be assimilated, il before an l, im before b, m or p, ir before r. The prefix dis is of Latin origin, where it had a privative, negative, or reversing force. A is the trickier of all, because it has many origins and variants. I learnt a lot reading the answers to the question linked. In the sense of not or without, it comes from the Greek, where it had the same meaning.
As reported from the node. IR dash and IL are variant spellings of in when added to words starting, respectively, with R, relevant, radiate, or L, logical, but. IR has origin from Latin, sometimes from Old French to dash dot. A has origin from Greek, when used in words like atypical. Old English, from the unstressed form of on, when used in words like aspire, ashore. Anglo-Norman French, from Latin ex, when used in words like anew, abash. A can also be a variant spelling of add dash, in words like ascend, aspire, and astringent.
In English, a lot of words that mean somewhat of the same thing came about because they are from different roots. For example, Latin and German have contributed to the English vocabulary. The prefixes you mentioned have different etymologies as well. From the Oxford English Dictionary, dis. Dis Latin dis was related to bis, originally asterisk dvis equals Greek twice, duo, two, the primary meaning being two ways, in twain. In English, it is now used in the following way. Hence, in English, dis appears, 1, as the English and French representative of Latin dis in words adopted from Latin, 2, as the English representative of Old French des, modern French de dash, des, the inherited form of Latin dis dash, 3, as the representative of late Latin dist, Romanic des dash, substituted for Latin d dash, 4, as a living prefix, arising from the analysis of these, and extended to other words without respect to their origin. Un. Representing Old English un, equals Old Frisian un, on, own, West Frisian un, on, East Frisian un, North Frisian un, Middle Dutch, and Dutch, on, Old Saxon, Middle Low German, Old High German, Middle Low German, German, and Gothic un, Old Norse o, Icelandic o, Swedish o, Norwegian and Danish u, corresponding to Old Irish in, and Latin in, im, Illinois, I, Greek, arm, and Sanskrit and a, Indo-European *n, an ablaut variant of ne not. In English, un is from Old English, and is used most often when new words are created. In Latin in adverb and prep, used in combination with verbs or their derivatives, less commonly with other parts of speech, with the senses into, in, within, on, upon, towards, against, sometimes expressing onward motion or continuance, sometimes intensive, sometimes transitive, and in other cases with little appreciable force. So why have more than one? Because English is funny that way. All three prefixes were maintained over time, and are used to combine with different sets of words. So while un and in are similar, the latter is from Latin and the former is from Old English. For a bit more information on the difference, this article from World Wide Words notes. There is a rule, but it's only of value to somebody who knows which language the root word came from, so it's really no help at all for most of us. In general, words take un when they are of English, Germanic, origin and in if they come from Latin. The forms im dash, Illinois dash, and ir are variations on in dash. Apart from that, there's really no good guide to which one you should choose. You're just going to have to stick to learning them by rote.
The Greek a prefix becomes in before vowels, including aspirated vowels. Originally this was only used with words of Greek origin, but eventually it got used on things that came from Latin or French as well. For example, aniconic, anovulation, aneroid, anorchism, anencephalus, anesthesia. Anangular, analagmatic, anovulation, anorchidism, anoetic, anecdote. Anonymous, anemic, anarchy, anucleate, analphabetic, anhedonia, anaerobic. Anodyne, anelectric, anhydrous, anasiological, anhydrosis, anidiomatic. Anorexia, and anantharus. Calling someone an anorch, istic wonder, just might stun him long enough for you to get away. Smiley face. However, there is also a Greek prefix on a dash, which means up to or back, and a combining form andro meaning man or male. There's also the an dash, as an annihilate, that comes from Latin ad, so not too far from Greek on a dash.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.